Walk into any feed store or saddlery and you'll almost certainly find shelves full of supplements. There are many brands of products designed to fix multiple problems a horse may experience. And they usually all have one thing in common: they are expensive. Which might leave you wondering a few things, including, do supplements actually work and are they worth the money they cost? And the answer to both of those questions, as it is for so many questions in horse nutrition, is it depends. Some supplements are incredibly effective and others are a complete waste of time and money. But it can be hard to know which is which, especially when their marketing is convincing. So let's explore supplements a little. In this Queensland Off the Track video, we will look at why a balanced diet is so important and how vitamin and mineral supplements can help you achieve this. Then we will look at some useful supplements, some not so useful supplements, and some traps to avoid when buying supplements. Let's go. As horse owners, we will usually want to reach for a supplement when our horse has a specific problem. Things like poor performance, hoof problems, weight loss, an inability to build muscle, gut problems, behavioural issues, or a lacklustre coat and skin conditions. All make us wonder if there is some silver bullet to fix the problem. A supplement that will just make the problem go away. Over the years, what I have found, and what the science of nutrition tells us, is that many, if not most of these problems are due to some basic nutrient deficiency or an imbalance in the types of ingredients your off the track is being fed. So my first step in fixing problems is always to look at the underlying diet. And to get this right before choosing any specific problem-solving supplements to spend your money on. Let me give you a personal example. When I was a teenager, a few years back, before I knew anything about horse nutrition, my beautiful mare Coco was constantly having issues with her hooves. We sought advice and were told to use a biotin supplement. Logical advice, given biotin is well known to improve hoof quality. Except it didn't work because biotin was never the issue. My childhood horse was never supplementary fed. So, knowing what I know now, and knowing that more than 99% of the 1,000 plus Australian pastures I have analysed are too low in copper and zinc to meet a horse's bare minimum requirements, I know she would have been deficient in copper and zinc, and both of these minerals are crucial for strong hooves. So my horse had a copper and zinc deficiency that we were trying to fix with biotin, which, needless to say, didn't work and her hoof woes continued. All this to say, if your off the track has a specific problem, your first step should always be to look at whether the underlying diet is balanced. A balanced diet is one that is high in forage, has excellent forage and fibre diversity, contains minimal grains, and it meets all requirements for nutrients, including vitamins and minerals. Unbalanced diets cause a plethora of specific issues. Diets that are too low in forage or too high in grain or that lack forage and fibre diversity have the potential to cause a shift or dysbiosis in your off-the-track's gut microbes. And that alone can cause problems with performance, behaviour, immune function, hoof quality, gastric ulceration, feed digestion and ability to hold weight, as well as disease, leaky gut, generalised inflammation and even skin conditions. Diets that lack specific nutrients will also cause problems, owing to Australian forages being inherently low in the minerals copper, zinc, selenium and iodine, and more mature forages or stored hay having low vitamin levels, It is not uncommon to see issues like poor performance, slow recoveries, lack of stamina, poor hoof quality, poor digestion, weight loss, inability to build muscle, muscle loss, muscle damage, poor appetite, behavioural issues, low immune function, dull, rough coats, skin conditions, and general ill thrift, all caused by various nutrient deficiencies. If you go searching the supplement shelves, you will almost certainly find a specific supplement to fix these individual issues. But unless the supplement is fixing the root cause of the issue, it won't work, just like biotin didn't work for my mare. The solution, in a majority of cases, is simply to balance the diet and make sure that all requirements for vitamins and minerals are being met. Which means a well-formulated vitamin and mineral supplement is definitely a useful addition to a diet where vitamin and mineral deficiency is the problem. It is important to remember, however, that vitamin and mineral supplements are only useful where a vitamin and mineral deficiency actually exists. So be careful not to double up by adding a vitamin and mineral supplement to a diet that already contains a balancer pellet or complete feed being fed at the correct feeding rate. There is more on this topic in the ebook for you. Even on a balanced diet, there are still additional supplements your Off the Track either requires or would benefit from. Let's take a look at a few that would specifically benefit Off the Tracks. In Queensland, where it is frequently hot and also humid, electrolytes are at the top of the list of useful supplements, and in fact, they are essential. If a horse becomes electrolyte deficient, they can't properly rehydrate themselves. They won't recover from exercise, they may tie up, and most worryingly, they will no longer be able to sweat properly, putting them at risk of heat stress. Electrolyte minerals are so important, in fact, that there is one supplement every horse must have, and that is salt. Ordinary old salt is made up of two electrolyte minerals, sodium and chloride, and these are two of the most important electrolyte minerals your Off the Track needs. Salt can be added to feed and should always be made available free choice. It is best provided free choice as loose salt because horses find it very easy to lick up and consume. If you would prefer to provide a block, I find the Himalayan blocks are ideal because they are smooth and much easier on a horse's soft tongue than a compressed salt block. Horses in regular hard work may also benefit from a well-formulated electrolyte supplement. Electrolyte supplements typically contain sodium and chloride, as well as potassium, plus small amounts of calcium and magnesium. Electrolyte supplements will quickly replace the salts lost in sweat, helping your horse to properly rehydrate and recover from exercise, and ensure they can continue to sweat normally. Be aware that not all electrolyte supplements are created equally, and some contain so little electrolyte mineral that they are all but completely useless. I have put a guide in the ebook for you that suggests the minimum amount of each electrolyte mineral that should be in a well-formulated electrolyte product to help you select a high quality and effective electrolyte supplement. Hoof supplements can be particularly useful for Off the Tracks, especially in their first year out of racing. Racing life is hard on hooves, and the high-grain diets fed tend to reduce the amount of biotin naturally produced in the hindgut, meaning Off the Tracks can have biotin deficiency related hoof issues that a biotin supplement can help to rectify. Look for supplements with a minimum of 20 milligrams of biotin per daily dose. And if the supplement contains zinc, it should also ideally contain copper to keep these minerals in the right ratio in the diet. Gut health supplements are another group of supplements that may help you off the track, especially in their first year off the track. We discussed your Off the Track's first 12 months and some of the potential issues in their gut, in detail in video 2 of the Queensland Off the Track Nutrition series. Very briefly, gastric ulcers and an imbalance of the microbes in the hindgut are common. So, gut supplements that support stomach health and a healthy hindgut microbe population can be useful. You may choose to go with a supplement that focuses just on the stomach, or you may choose a supplement that focuses more on the hindgut. Or you might go with a more broad spectrum supplement that supports the entire gastrointestinal tract. Whatever you choose, do your research to make sure that the product you purchase has reputable science to support each of the ingredients it contains, and that those ingredients are used at a dose rate that has been shown to be effective for achieving the outcome that you want. More on this a bit later. This certainly isn't an exhaustive list of useful supplements. Other potentially useful supplements include bone mineral supplements for horses grazing high oxalate pastures. And there is an entire Queensland Off the Track video on keeping your off the track safe on Queensland pastures to help you learn more about how to use these bone mineral supplements correctly. Vitamin E supplements for horses without access to fresh pasture for long periods of time. Protein and amino acid supplements for muscle building. High omega-3 oils or supplements for horses on high grain diets or for when fresh pasture isn't available. Toxin binders to help reduce the negative effect of mycotoxins that might be in feed. And enzyme supplements that help improve digestion. And this still isn't an exhaustive list. There are lots of potentially useful supplements, but the ones I have mentioned are likely the ones that you will come across the most. There are, unfortunately, many products on the market that sound amazing, cost you significant amounts of money, and are also likely to provide your horse with very little benefit. Amongst this list include many of the traditional or older style glucosamine and conjointin joint supplements, calming supplements based on tryptophan, and traditional bacterial probiotics. There is little to no science to support the use of these products in horses, and yet they are commonplace. Some of the most used supplements on the market. Why? For a few reasons. One is that as horse owners, we get so desperate to fix a problem that we will try anything. And then, due to motivated reasoning, we find it very difficult to objectively assess whether the product actually makes a difference. And second, some of these products are very effective in humans, so we mistakenly assume that they will also work for our horses. Garlic is actually a classic example of this. As humans, we know it is good for us as part of our diet. It is actually toxic for horses, and yet for years it was a popular ingredient in horse supplements. All this to say, be selective with your supplement choices. Ask for the research, and if it's not published in a reputable journal and not convincing, it is perhaps best to pass on that supplement. A few other things to watch out for when buying and using supplements include claims that sound amazing but don't have any science to back them up. Products that are supported by research that is only published as an in-house report. I have seen documents that report positive benefits in the leading summary that are not backed up anywhere in the actual data, as they bank on most people only reading the summary. Or where the study design or statistics are so inadequate that the results are meaningless, but they're still made to sound convincing. Products that use ingredients with excellent research to support their use, but they are included in the supplement at well below the dose rate that was shown to be effective in the research. This is the equivalent of taking something like 1/8 of the dose of a pain medication like Panadol and still expecting it to work. It won't, and neither will those supplements. And you must feed supplements at the correct dose rate. Being expensive, we sometimes have the tendency to underfeed them to make the bucket last longer. But this will reduce and maybe even completely negate any positive effect the supplement may have had. To summarise what to buy and what to avoid in the world of supplements, remember, a supplement will only work if it addresses the root cause of the problem your horse is experiencing. For example, a biotin supplement will not fix hoof issues that are caused by a zinc or copper deficiency. With that in mind, the first thing you should always do when solving a problem your horse is experiencing is get the diet balanced. That way you will fix the problem if it is due to an ingredient imbalance or a nutrient deficiency. Or you will identify that it's not a simple imbalance or deficiency and can continue searching for a solution. Well-formulated vitamin and mineral supplements are perfect for balancing diets and are well worth the money you will spend on them. But be careful not to double up on nutrients unnecessarily by feeding them on top of a balancer pellet or a complete feed that's already being fed at the correct feeding rate. Salt is an essential supplement for all horses. Electrolyte, hoof and gut health supplements are all potentially useful for off the tracks, especially in their first 12 months out of racing. Other useful supplements, when used in the right circumstances, include bone mineral supplements, vitamin E, protein and amino acids, omega-3, toxin binders and digestive enzyme supplements. Old-style joint supplements, tryptophan-based calming supplements and bacterial probiotics don't have strong research to support their use in horses. Beware of unsupported claims, dodgy research and supplements that use ingredients in amounts far less than was shown to be effective in supporting research. And finally, be sure to feed supplements at the correct dose rate. Supplements can be amazing and in some cases even life-saving, but they will only work when they are addressing the specific cause of the issue your off the track is experiencing. And they must be fed together with a balanced diet at the correct dose rate. Buying the wrong supplement or buying supplements for the wrong reason will cost you a lot of money for no good return. But if you read the research, ask lots of questions, read customer reviews with an open mind, and choose carefully, the right supplement can become an invaluable part of your off the tracks diet, keeping them their happiest and healthiest selves.